Hello and welcome to my study, which is my fictional desk, which I drew at my real desk. This is going to be a little bit of a different video. I wanted to make this originally in the spring after my last video came out, and then something happened in the early summer that made me kind of sad. I don't know what though. Guess we'll never know. Anyways, after I posted my last video, What's Your Favorite Animal? I was absolutely delighted by your guys' comments. I was expecting a lot of the more normal animals, and I know a lot about animals as a person, but you guys had some favorite animals that I have literally never heard of, and it was very exciting to see all of them. So I, of course, was like, we gotta draw some of these guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's time for me to draw some of your guys' favorite animals. Hooray! Starting us off strong, we have the sand cat. I absolutely adore the sand cat. I think they're so cute. I love their shape and how cute their little ears are. And my favorite quality about sand cats is how they just perpetually look worried or a little bit concerned, probably because they're so little, but I tried to channel that sense of worry into this kitty. This next one I thought was very cute, like the visual of these two animals together. Because we have a fox and we have a grackle, so I decided to draw a fox with a pet grackle and a grackle with a pet fox, and kind of how that interaction would go of these two people kind of coming across each other with this unlikely bond, and I thought it was very cute. I love grackles. I think they're so interesting, and I love how shiny they are. Any bird that is black and has yellow eyes that are just piercing into your soul, I absolutely adore. And then, of course, foxes with their fluffy tails. My favorite part of the foxes is how just, like, fluffy their tails can be. So I made sure to have some extra fluffy tails on screen for this one. And existentially, we don't have to think about it too hard. And next we have the pangolin. There were actually a couple of people who commented saying that they loved pangolins. I could only find this one comment when I was going through, but I know there were multiple. I remember seeing them. And mad respect to those who did comment, because pangolins are an S-tier creature. I love them. They're so interesting and they're so cute. I love that they're this kind of pinkish brown color and they've got all their little scales. They're such an interesting creature. Like, they're the kind of animal that you could show an alien and be like, look, this exists. And they would look at you like, huh? But they're just so cute and so fun. Like, armadillos kind of freak me out, but pangolins, S-tier. And then we have the eels. I really like the eels because it made me have to think about my world in a couple of distinct ways. One of them being like, could there be sea creatures walking around? And I'm always rule of cool and rule of cute, so I said yes. But it also, I learned something about myself when I was drawing these eels. And I've discovered that if something has a non-normal amount of legs, I am putting it in a cute dress and I cannot be stopped. I know technically I did have a fox earlier, but the Arctic fox is different. She's rounder, she's softer, she's more squishable, and I was just captivated by her winter vibes. And also, just for this commenter, I did go in and give her pink eyes, and they perfectly match her pink coat and scarf, so she's ready for winter. Now remember when I said earlier, anything that has an unusual amount of legs is getting a cutesy dress. Having 6 legs and being an insect does not excuse you from being the most well-dressed cutie at the garden party. Those are just the rules. Oh, the kakapo. Just a confused, silly, weird little guy. They have such an energy about them, and they feel like the parrot equivalent of a dad who's just lost in a grocery store. So I had to give him his little list, so he looks like he was lost in a grocery store. In all seriousness, no, they're beautiful and very fascinating birds, and so I wanted to kind of include the various colors of their plumage, and of course, some khaki pants. And last but not least, we've got the axolotl and the olm. I love the olm. I love axolotls. My grandma actually owned an axolotl, and I didn't find out until like years after, and she was like, oh, my axolotl died. I'm like, you had an axolotl, grandma? In all seriousness, though, these are fascinating creatures. I think it's so interesting that they have their gills on the outside of their head. I love that the olm is just what happens when you get weird in a cave for like a million years. And because they are so similar but so different, I drew these two as if they are on a date. Is it their first date? Is it their 100th date? It's not for us to know, but I will say they are in love, and that's all that matters. And that brings us to the end, but there were so many great comments and so many great animals that I could not stop myself, so we've got a handful more. All right, we've got otter, pigeon, Maine wolf, which is my favorite canine, orchid mantis, blue whale, moth, octopus, bearded dargon, and sea bunny. Whew, that was a lot of animals. I'm tired now. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my interpretations of these different animals. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in, and especially a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon. If you like this style of video, a little more art focus, a little less story time, let me know in the comments. If you want to see another one of these, I can do that too. And if you really just are dying to know how I would interpret your favorite animal in my style, you can head on over to my Ko-fi, and I have commissions available. And some of those, if I do another one of these, might make it in, so that's exciting. And as always, I hope you smile today.